We got chickens tripping back here. That's what I keep looking at. Anyway, Shelly here. And welcome back to Two Old Crows Homestead. I think we have some roosters that need to go to freezer camp. I know we do. I say that all the time, and I never get around to killing them. They're running around in the backyard, acting a fool. But anyways, so welcome back to our channel. If you haven't been here before, it would be awesome if you would subscribe, hit the like button, leave comments, whatever you want to do. We love any interaction that we get with our audience. So today, well, let me back up in case you haven't noticed. I've set a goal for myself that I'm going to try to make a video every day for the month of September. That may be unrealistic. I've tried to do this before and made it about halfway through the month. I think it was like last year in October or something like that. I made it about halfway through the month, and then bam, life took over and I didn't get it out. But I kind of slacked a little bit or died off in making videos in August. That was mainly because, oh my God, I think I have goldenrod growing back there. I mean, I'm just like, my brain is like squirrel. Anyway, the main reason that I started slacking or cutting back in August was because our youngest daughter, the only daughter that we had still living at home, went to college. And not that it's at all her fault. I'm super, whatever she wants to do with her life, go for it, kid, because she can totally do whatever she, sets her mind to. So, however, when we bought this farm, Crystal was still living at home, and even though the homesteading dream has been our dream, it has not been her dream. And that's fine because, homesteading wasn't even on my radar when I was her age. So that's fine. But she helped out around the farm all the time. And she did, she helped out with chores. She would make supper. She helped out with indoor chores and everything. She would come out and feed the animals for us. Or if we had a big project, she would come and help put up fence and all that kind of thing. The only thing that she never wanted anything to do with was processing animals. Because, she came out and fed them all the time and everything, and she didn't have any problem eating them. She was cool with that, but she just didn't want any part of the whole processing thing. And again, that's fine. Some people do, some people don't. And, we had kind of been preparing to be empty nesters when, she went off to college. It has been a bit of an adjustment. Even when, when Randy used to drive over the road, he used to be an over-the-road truck driver. He did that for like 20 years. And it was, even when he was gone, I mean, it wasn't like something that I just got used to it. I was a truck driver's wife. And but I still had, kids in the house. There were still people here. And he doesn't drive over the road anymore, but he works, 12-hour shifts. But it's fine. But we've had to adjust a little bit. We don't have that extra hand that's helping, feed animals in the morning or in the evening. Or, if Randy and I have to take off for something, she was always here to take care of everything while we were gone. And we just don't have that. So it's taken a little bit of adjustment. And again, I'm super glad that she's pursuing her dreams. And I know that she's going to do great things and all of that. But it just takes some getting used to and figuring out, we have to be really diligent about, we have to make sure that, the animals get put up at night. We have to make sure that they get fed and all of those kind of things, where before I could say, hey, do you mind going out and feeding the animals? And she would run out and do it. So the month of August was a big adjustment. And so when I was thinking about what video I wanted to do today, I thought, well, I didn't do a garden update for August. I was trying to do one a month just so I would kind of have that archive of what was happening and I could go back and look at it. And then I was like, I don't want to do a garden update because my garden looks like crap. Like, there's weeds everywhere. It is a mess everywhere. And, you know, we don't like showing this stuff that we're, you know, slacking on or not great at or whatever. We don't like sharing that. But then I thought, you know, I just need to be real. And I think that sometimes people get discouraged with gardening or homesteading because they don't have a Pinterest garden, or their garden doesn't look as good as somebody else's, or isn't growing as well as somebody else's, or you know, the other person just has this beautiful flower trimmed and, you know, whatever thing going on, and all the little garden trinkets and all that kind of stuff. And you think, well, I can't do that, and I just don't really want to get into this. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to show my garden, even though it's a hot mess. I want people to understand when they come to our channel, like, we don't have people that work for us. We don't have interns. We don't have, you know, people here helping out or whatever. It's me and Randy. It was me and Randy and Crystal, but, you know, she's gone to college now. So it's me and Randy. And we are both in our early 50s. We are kind of breaking down. I'm just being honest with you. Randy's probably going to have knee replacement surgery at some point. And that's from this huge, big accident that he was in when he was a kid. So he's always had issues with especially one of his knees, but both of them have been kind of messed up for a long time. And he's also got this horrible looking heel spur on his heel right now. He just went to the doctor last week and she did x-rays, and I kid you not, this thing looks like heel spurs, x-rays of heel spurs that I've seen in the past. It kind of looks like a starburst or something, like one of those things that fall out of the trees with the spikes all over them or whatever. That's normally what I think of when I think of a heel spur. Randy's heel spur looks like a claw. Like, it looks like that claw that comes out of the back of the leg of the rooster. You know, that spur, whatever that's called, that they will jump up and claw you with when they're trying to come after you or whatever. And I told him when I saw the picture of it, I was like, I think you're getting a little bit too into farming. I don't think that you need to do that. Say hi, Coop. Say hi, buddy. Yeah, this is a Coop dog. He's a Coop dog. He's a good dog. Yes, he is. And there's Socks. You gonna lick me too? Say hi, Socks. Yes. You made me drop my thing. Hold on a minute. So, dude, come on. And there's Lola right over there. Lola's just hanging. So anyway, I say all that. I'm not trying to get you to feel sorry for us or anything, but we do this all on our own. So when the garden looks like crap, it's okay. The garden looks like crap, because even with my garden looking like a hot mess out here, I still got a ton of potatoes. Not a ton. And I'm sure that people get more potatoes than us, but I'm going to tell you what, like in the past, we have only been able to get maybe 15 potatoes in a potato harvest. And I've got 5 feet of my table covered with potatoes right now. I'm so excited. And I also have sweet potatoes out there that I need to harvest. I have currently picked at least 100 tromboncinos for our pigs, and I know that I've got at least 50 or 60 more to pick. This huge mess of Jerusalem artichokes, and I've been going through this and chopping off about halfway up of those stalks. Y'all, our pigs love them. They eat them all the time. Gosh, let's just take you out here and see. We'll do a garden update very quickly. All right. So, you know, I could say that I'm doing this on purpose and just growing a variety of weeds for whatever reason, but no joke, that'd be a lie. Okay, this is actually the bed. This is the bed I had all my cabbage in. You see, there's actually a bed in there. I need to pull all these weeds out and clean this out because I want to grow garlic in this bed. But right now I actually have poke growing in there. And I've been watching some herbalists that I watch on YouTube, and learning about how poke can be a very strong antibiotic. So I don't know, I may pull that up and try to make a tincture out of that. It is a little bit scary though. I mean, not scary, but it's not, you got to be careful with it. It's not something that you can just, you know, take over and over and over. But there's tromboncino growing out there on the fence all the way down through here. I think I can come through. I've got to harvest some of these little ones, but I think I can come through and clear out some of these plants and start cleaning this up. But the stuff that's down there that's still green and still growing, I am going to let it continue to grow, because as long as it's producing flowers, it's producing fruit. And as long as I can get stuff for my pigs, I'm going to continue to do so. There's celery that I should have harvested a long time ago. I'll pull that up and give it to the pigs. There's weeds that I was pulling and piling all of them up in that wheelbarrow, and now they're growing out of the wheelbarrow. Y'all, I ain't lying. I'm a mess when it comes to weeding a garden, but we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. So as you can see, this right here, and there's tromboncino that's growing up in this, but this is the bed that I had all of my asparagus in, and that's what this is. That's an asparagus, and it's growing down there, and actually down the road in the food forest, it's growing like crazy down there too. And asparagus is one of those things that has to grow for actually it's better if it's 3 to 4 years before you start harvesting it. You have to let it get well and established. So this is going to be the bed for asparagus right here. And then over here I've got some jalapeno plants that I've picked most of that stuff off of. I've got cucumber plants on this trellis that have died back, and I need to pull those out. There's marigolds that reseeded themselves this year. I didn't even plant those. They were left over from last year. Great pollinator attractors. I've got all kinds of peppers growing. There's bell peppers down there at that end. There's sweet peppers down at this end. And we've been picking peppers off of those ever since they started coming up. My tomato bed is seriously a mess. It needs to be cleaned out. And then back there is where we harvested all of the potatoes that we got out. And on this side, underneath all of those big tromboncino leaves, is a load of sweet potatoes. Now, in the video, the last video or the one before that, when we were talking about harvesting potatoes, I showed you that we dug up, it was like 6 or 7 sweet potatoes. So that came from that little section right there. If you can see right there where we've dug some stuff out, that was right there. There's another poke plant growing right there. So I've got to come out and pull that tromboncino back, but all of that area over there has got sweet potatoes in underneath it, and I can't wait to dig those up. We came out here last night when we were finishing digging up the potatoes, and this whole area right here that we dug up was Kennebec potatoes. And then down this row, down the side of the garden right here, we had planted Yukon Golds. We started digging those up, and we got like 1 potato per plant, and it might have been the size of like 2 golf balls. It wasn't very big at all. And then down the side down here, all of these pumpkins, and then we did have some squash and some yellow squash, yellow squash, summer squash, and some zucchini down here. We've harvested those already. You can see that green pumpkin right there. There's several pumpkins down through here, and these are little sugar pumpkins. I like these because I will take the insides out of this and freeze it and make pumpkin bread and stuff like that, and give the seeds to my pigs because and the chickens, they like them too, but they're great wormers for those animals. When you see where the plants started growing outside of the fence, there's several pumpkins and stuff out there as well. Randy can't wait for me to get those vines out of there so he can mow all of this. It kind of makes him a little bit crazy. And then we've got some sugar baby watermelons that are growing, and I've already harvested one of those and it was delicious. This is the first year I've been able to grow watermelon, so I was super excited about that. Is that it? I think that may be it. Yeah. So the one thing that I want you to get from this, because again, and I say this over and over, I am not a gardening expert at all. There are plenty of channels out there that you can watch, that I watch, that, you know, will give you ideas and all of that stuff, inspiration about how to plant stuff and how to harvest stuff and put it up and all of that kind of thing. There's plenty of channels out there for that. If you're looking for expert gardening advice, this is not the channel for you. However, if you are somebody who thinks that they can't do this, you can totally do this. If you're somebody that works a full-time job and just the thought of doing homesteading or planting a garden or putting food up for yourself, oh my gosh, my sunchokes are finally getting flowers. You see this little one right here? You see that? So these Jerusalem artichokes, they're actually called sunchokes, and they're in the sunflower family. So they get a small flower like a sunflower. And I've been waiting for mine to get some, and this is the first time. There's one up there at the top that I see. This is the first time I've noticed that they have them. Anyway, if you're somebody that thinks that this is just too much and you can't do it, it's not true. You can totally do this. The thing about homesteading, and I think that everybody that jumps into this space might initially have a problem with this, but I think we start out wanting to do all the things, and we're kind of like, well, I watch so-and-so's channel and they have guineas, and I watch so-and-so's channel and they have rabbits, and I've watched all of these classes or all of these videos on how to take care of rabbits, and I feel like I can do that. And oh my God, so-and-so's channel has a milk cow. I need dairy on my farm. Maybe I can't handle a cow, but if I get goats, I can get dairy from goats. And I need hair sheep. Hair sheep are amazing. They'll keep my field trimmed down, and I need to do this. And pigs are like the easiest thing in the world next to chickens, right? And all the chickens I have, that's the gateway drug to homesteading. And then you have all these things, and then you're just like, oh my God, like I had no idea. I had no idea what it cost for feed. I had no idea that I had to get up at such and such hour in the morning. I had no idea that it was going to take this much to process them, or if I got to go learn how to process them. And yeah, it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. I'm going to recommend that you don't do that. I'm going to recommend that you start with planting 3 things, and make it food that you like. Make it things that you like. Don't plant some kind of obscure tomato variety because, oh my God, it just tastes like heaven and this is what I've got to have or whatever. And so-and-so's channel planted this tomato and she has 34 different varieties of tomatoes and they look so pretty on her table. Don't do that mess. I have a bug on my glasses. Well, I don't know. Don't do that. Go get you 3 or 4 tomato plants, because you'll get a lot of tomatoes on 3 or 4 tomato plants. Plant you some cucumbers. They're super easy to grow, really easy. Sometimes you run into, when you start growing squash and stuff, you run into pest problems. I can't believe, like, tromboncinos, I don't know if they're anti-pest. I don't know what the deal is, but the pest did not bother them. And I even came out here and found squash bugs on them, and they weren't eating them. They were just on them. It was like they were there trying to figure out how to get into it or something. Try some things that you know that you like to eat, and just focus on like 3 things and get good at planning those 3 things. And then when you have that under your belt and you've, battled some pest issues and all that kind of thing, then add a couple more things. And my dog just came up behind me, and I swear I thought it was somebody walking behind me, and I'm like, what? As far as animals go, get you a few chickens. You don't need 30 chickens. A chicken on average will lay an egg a day, depending on what breed. But for the most part, throughout the year, you'll get about an egg a day. So if you've got, 3 or 4 people living in your house, get 4 to 6 chickens. And that should do you for eggs. And you don't need a rooster to have eggs. They'll lay eggs, they just won't be fertilized. So, you don't need a rooster. If you think you're going to have an issue with that, when we had King, if you go back and watch our older videos, we had a beautiful black Australorp rooster that he was Randy's like favorite animal that we had, besides Curly, the big red pig that we had. And he never did anything to Randy. Anybody else that came out here, he was flogging them like crazy. I don't even know how many times I was like threatening to put that chicken in the crock pot. If you're worried about having a mean rooster or whatever, don't get a rooster. Just get you a few hens. You just got to make sure that they're in a secure place and they're safe. Start small. It doesn't have to be some big. Don't compete with the other people that you see doing this. Don't do that. Randy and I are getting ready to downsize our pigs. We have too many piggy mouths to feed. So this weekend, we're going to be processing, I know 1, maybe 2. Go check out some festivals. Come to the Kentucky Sustainable Living Festival in Bowling Green at the WKU Ag Expo Center. The festival is October 28th and 29th. You'll meet all kinds of cool people there. You'll meet people that probably live in a close proximity to you. And every festival that I go to, even if it's in another state, I will meet somebody from Kentucky. And you'll make connections with people. You'll find your community. It's an amazing thing. You'll get ideas of how to do things. There's a lot of people that's going to be, a couple of the people that's going to be at our festival is Billy Bond from Permapasture Farm and Matt Hunley from Homestead for a Living. Matt and Billy have written a book called Scrapsteading, and it's like a low-cost way to homestead. If you have a chance to sit down and talk with Matt Hunley, him and Gabby, their story will blow you away. They started out on a small piece of land that had a trailer on it that was no joke. It was like a crack house. And when they started, converting that little piece of land into, planting gardens and stuff, they would find like needles and all kinds of crap in the ground. They got that whole area cleaned up. They got the little trailer cleaned up. And then they sold that off and upgraded to another piece of land. The place where they live now, they actually built their house. It's not a huge house, but it's a big enough house for them. And they built it, working on it every day, every chance that they could, putting every dime that they had into it. They're not in debt for it. It's just their story is absolutely inspiring. You need to check out their channel, and you need to come hear them speak at the festival. You need to get their book, Scrapsteading, and it will give you a lot of ideas of how to do this. I wanted to make this video to, just tell you not to give up. It's okay if your garden's not perfect. It's okay if you got a lot of weeds. It's okay if, you got to take care of some animals because you got too many mouths to feed. it's not, sometimes there have been days that I go to bed and I'm just like, what am I doing? And maybe I'm in over my head. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes, I kind of feel that way. And almost always the next morning I get up and I'm like, okay, it's a new day. We got this. It's going to be okay. And we always try to make sure that our animals are taken care of. Because even though we do harvest our animals, we only want them to have one bad day. And so we try to do everything that we can to ensure that they live a good, healthy life. And, that they're taken care of. And we make mistakes. There's things that we've screwed up. We had one of our pigs, one of our sows was pregnant. And she gave birth to 2 stillborn piglets. And then we ended up losing her too. And that was not a fun day. And it's those things, when those things happen, we're kind of like, what are we doing? You have to stop and, learn from every experience. And now, we've got to be even better trained on how to take care of them. The weird thing in my area is that vets in my area, they tell me that they don't deal with pigs. Our county, or the county that we used to live in, this county too, they're big beef counties. So most of the vets, that's what they're dealing with is beef stuff, unless you're talking about pets, like dogs and stuff like that. But most of the large animal vets, that's what they're dealing with. And I just think that they don't, because we've called vets about our pigs before and we can't get them to come out. I think that mostly what it is that pigs are not always nice. Pigs are big and they can hurt you, and they can nip at you and bite you, and if that's not really something that we deal with, because we get out and interact with our pigs and take care of them. But I think that by and large vets are kind of like, yeah, I'm not dealing with a pig, because they can hurt you. But then I'm thinking cows can hurt you too. I don't know. But it's just hard to get somebody to come out and look at your pigs around here. So that's something that we have to learn to take care of on our own. It's just, I've started reading more books about it and just educating myself more on the care of our pigs. And tragically, we lost that one, and it was not a good day on the homestead. But everything that happens is a learning experience. You take the good, you leave the bad. So just take a minute and, especially on those days that you're feeling super overwhelmed, just take a minute and reflect on what are the good things that happened today. What are the things that I need to work on a little bit? What, maybe I need to get a book. Maybe I need to call a friend. Maybe I need to get plugged in at a festival or in a community or something. Like there's actually a guy in the KSL group that every time we have issues with our pigs, we call him. To this day, I've never met him face to face. We've been on the phone with him, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 times, and we message each other and stuff like that. But I consider him a friend. I can call him up and say, hey, this is happening with my pigs. And he's like, try this, try this, try this. And very helpful guy. I hope someday that I can meet him. That would be pretty awesome. But maybe you just need to get plugged into a community that, people help each other out. I don't know. I was going to make a short video, and this has gotten kind of long, but I felt like I just needed to get on here and just be a little bit of inspiration. You don't have to have a Pinterest garden. You don't have to have the perfect chicken coop. It doesn't have to look like a KFC building or a little farm town or whatever. You don't have to have, all of the right organic things going on. It doesn't have to be that. It's just what it is. So take it one day at a time. Go out and work in your garden a little bit each day. That is, not only is that productive for your garden, it's therapeutic for your soul. And just reflect every day about what happened that was good today, what happened that was bad, how do I need to improve, what do I need to do better tomorrow. Think about those things. And you know, if you're feeling overwhelmed, message me, put a comment down below, send me a message, and maybe I can be of encouragement to you. If you have any questions, if I don't know the answer, I do know seriously a lot of smart people. So if I don't know the answer, I'll find out the answer and I'll get back with you. But just don't give up. Don't stop, because I have a feeling that we're getting back into what we were in a few years ago. I have a feeling that something, you know, might be coming down the road. And if you don't want to be a person that has to wear a mask every day, then you probably need to be growing your own food. Just saying. So yeah, just take it one day at a time. Keep on keeping on. And I will see you all later. Bye. Yeah, God bless you. Have a great day.